here.
Marky Z, and welcome to season 2 again of the
Rockin House.
Rockin House, man. We have an awesome guest today, Brian, right? We got Raven Black from Los Angeles, California, Hollywood area, and let me tell you, they are insanely cool to see on stage. What an amazing performance where they bring these characters to life on stage based on a comic book, like anime, horror depicted type of murder doll type of situation as a metal hardcore band, rock dude.
Yeah, I believe they're, what do you say, from Los Angeles there, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, Los Angeles, and you would expect something like this coming out of Los Angeles. More like a horror band.
Yeah.
Horror meets metal.
Yes.
Lead singer looks like a ragdoll coming to get you. More like the female version of Chucky,
Yes.
who we do know. Don't be scared. They're going worldwide. They play the biggest metal festivals. So they got an entire package if you like theatrical endeavors and things like that. Raven Black is the band for you, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. They're awesome. When you leave their show, you have a lot to talk about, a lot to say, or just a memorable band. When you see them, you don't forget them. They're very original is what I like to say, and I'm impressed by everything they do. When you say theatrics, but you got to cut through the theatrical part and say, yeah, they are serious musicians, so
Yes.
they bring both to the table. So it's a great combination of musicianship and theatrics and a little of that horror thing, and like I say, a little bit of Chucky involved there too. So what do you think, Mark?
I think it's awesome. I mean, these guys have toured with bands like Ginger. They toured with Devil Driver. They toured with Static X. I mean, they're national known. They've got numbers on their views and on their videos. I'm going to tell you, we're going to have Raven on the show today, and she's going to explain to you what's been going on with them. I know they're looking to release some new material in 2021, so we're going to bring on Raven Black to the show. Welcome, Raven Black, to the Rockin' House.
Yeah.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, not the fairest of them all. Tell me what it is you see. Show me who I'm supposed to be. And if I shatter all the glass, will it matter? Erase the past.
All right, this is Marky Z, and welcome to another awesome episode of the Rockin' House of Season 2. I've got Raven from Raven Black, all the way from California, with us today. Welcome to the Rockin' House, Raven. We're glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you too. And I want to start the show off with how Raven, you became a musician, why you sing. Obviously, is there something that has to do with love and horror movies and things like that, or the shock rockers like Rob Zombie or Marilyn Manson? Tell me that story. How did this start for you to become
Gosh,
Raven?
it started way back when I was probably about 4 or 5 years old.
Wow.
I was a little bit rebellious as far as wanting to do things that I wasn't old to do yet, like watch The Exorcist. You know? So I went to the theater with my cousin Tony and his girlfriend at the time. And my brother and I, everybody was like, cover your eyes. When you get scared, just cover your eyes. And of course, I was like, peeking. I liked horror. I kind of just loved every single scary movie or, growing up. I grew up in the 80s, stuff like the Funky Brewster and Pippi Longstocking. And
Yeah, okay.
all like misfit little girls. Shirley Temple was a misfit herself too.
Right.
A lot of the powering female role, Sound of Music, was my first album. My mom bought me from my record player. So a lot of musical theater in my background. And
Awesome.
then, of course, starting at 5 years old, I started dance classes.
Okay.
So dancing, all those kinds of classes. Both my parents were in a band in the 60s.
Okay.
Beatnik band.
Yeah.
And this is funny backstory. They were called the Black Crows. Not the Black Crows we know,
Right. Okay.
but they were Black Crow,
Okay.
and that's one of the reasons why they named me Raven.
Raven.
So,
Okay. Got it.
It was supposed to be Crow, but that my mom was like, that's not the name. So, they went
right.
so that it's like Black Crow.
Got it.
But it actually fits because I've read so much about the Raven over the years, and of course, I love poetry, all that stuff, Edgar Allan Poe, more. So it kind of stuck with me. But I've always kind of had this really weird, dark, mysterious curiosity about witches and witchcraft and voodoo and, paranormal, any kind of movie that had anything to do with that. The Munsters was a big, big favorite. The Addams Family, all that vintage horror, Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman.
Right.
I mean, my brothers and I were huge, huge fans of that. And I remember my dad going like, you're not scared, you're not spooked out by that stuff, and love it, we love it, So, other kids around us were like, we don't get it. Like the girls at my school were like, pretty social, commercial.
Yeah.
Everybody wore. I was in all black, and I cut up my tights, and I wanted to be, very vintage, very goth. I think my first influence goth or punk or metal, Sex Pistols, I think was my first punk.
Okay.
Because I just liked Sid and Nancy. I just
Right.
loved Bonnie and Clyde. I think that's Bonnie and Clyde.
Okay.
The movie, So yeah, they stemmed away from back then, and because of all the dancing and musical theater training, singing lessons, all that stuff that I did as a kid, as I got older and older and influenced by different music from the 80s and the 2000s, metal for me, I loved classic rock. I
Right.
love hard rock. So it kind of stems from all that. I mean, I still listen to old classic rock like Styx and Foreigner,
Yeah.
Journey. Like, I still listen to that. That's one of my old school playlists. But it's good.
Yes, it is. When it's good, it's good.
Pat Benatar, all the power women definitely were all role models.
Right. Right.
But, if you want to get into new wave and kind of more pop, Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, every single female that was like rebellious, all, I want to be like.
Right.
So as an adult, of course, I tried to do the band thing and dance, all that when I was out of high school. But back then, and it was all about sex, drugs, rock and roll, and
Right.
and I was a late bloomer. I was rebellious a lot. I went through book out. I went through some shit
Yeah.
early in age that really messed me up. So, the whole relationship thing with beat up guy. I wasn't about trying to fall in love, puppy love. I didn't get to do the love thing.
Okay.
I'll fucking kick your ass.
Okay.
For me, I was that girl, and I grew up with brothers, so that feminine, girly, prissy and cute me, was not my. But that's part of why. I mean, when I decided to do the band, and I had this vision of, finally expressing who I'm inside. And at the time, 18 through early 20, people wanted to get me. That was it. No one took me seriously. I'm also half Asian. Being Asian, either me so horny or being, you're either a prostitute or you're a nerd, right?
Right.
So those were stereotype Asian, so horny, make it, $5 make you holla kind of thing.
Yes.
And I rebellious tomboy, so that didn't work well.
Okay.
I did some Broadway stuff. Like Miss Saigon was in Hollywood.
Wow.
Yeah, so it kind of started from all that. But when I decided to finally try to do it, I just kept getting, just basically lied to, manipulated, The closest I got in the TLC era,
Okay.
where a big, huge star from the Philippines, she's a singer. She's like their Whitney Houston.
Okay.
To form a 3-girl Asian group band, kind of like TLC in the 90s.
Okay.
Singer, that 3, and it was a pop, hip-hop kind of a vibe,
Okay.
but more singing.
Got it.
Some rap, but that was huge, the 90s. The 90s.
Yeah.
The 90s was fun. But then one of the girls was like dealing with drug charges and stuff, all kinds of drama.
Okay.
So we never got to release our first album.
Got it.
So that broke up. And at that time, the producer that was working, his name was George Black. Funny, that I'm Raven Black.
Yeah.
George Black.
How about it? Ironic.
But he worked on productions with Prince
Okay.
and just a lot of 90s bands at the time. So I produced Prince World
Okay.
at that, and I ended up dancing in the early 90s.
Okay.
And so that was fun. And then, but then, the industry just was not very well. So I decided to go up and be the adulter, go in and do some adulting.
Right.
So corporate job, pay my bills, get my own place,
Right.
had all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I kind of left the dream aside because each time I got in, it was not happening unless I wanted to sleep my way to it.
Right. Right. Yes. Understand.
I just didn't want to do it. I still wouldn't do it to this day. That rebellious side of me that's no, you're not getting to my kind of. So at 40,
Okay.
I don't know if you know, I turned 50.
50?
Yeah.
Wow.
50 years old.
You look a lot younger than 50.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So when I turned 39, actually, I was I'm about to turn 40. Fuck.
Yeah.
And the dream is still there.
Sure.
At that point, I was a very successful businessman.
Okay.
And I had some money. And I was like, you know what? For my 40th birthday, I want to do something to change my life and do something for me. And at this
Awesome.
point, I don't have anybody, that can tell me what I want, what I don't want. I know what I want.
Right.
So at the time, I decided I'm going to leave my corporate life, take my savings, and start a band and do what I love.
Awesome. How awesome is that? That's an awesome story. And it happens a lot. You got to take a risk to get something. That's how it works. You're exactly 100% on the money with that. I'll tell you what, we're going to come back with Raven Black and talk more with her on how things are going with the band in just a minute. Thank you.
Please come in, have a seat. We have something for you. Just sit back, try and relax. Please let me set the mood. One lock of hair, candle to spare, needle and
right, this is Marky Z, and we got a special treat for you guys. Raven is going to actually explain to us how she came up with this crazy, awesome story of this whole band concept that actually is in a cartoon character in a comic book. Am I right about that?
Yes, we have the Dark Metal Carnival comic book.
Wow.
And 2 issues out, and the 3rd issue will come out this year.
Nice.
Well, the first issue, basically, the 4 of us, the 4 characters, we've got the doctor, who is our guitarist. The
Right.
doctor, in his past life, was a renowned surgical, scientist. And government had him, he worked for the government, and they had him working and experimenting on humans, and it ended up turning humans into zombies.
Nice.
And he felt bad, he was real distraught, he fought with it, but he got bit by a zombie, and it kind of turned him into like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing.
I love it.
Back to my love for vintage horror. And then Stitches, of course, was patient zero, the patient that he wanted to help bring back to life
Nice.
and cure. Was my tribute to, obviously Frankenstein. So Stitches is Raven Black Frankenstein.
Got it.
And
Okay.
Muppet was a demon. He's a demon. So his past life is that all his many lives he was, once a knight, a warrior, a samurai, all those things. And his soulmate kept getting murdered and killed and burned at the stake in each of his lives.
Okay.
So he renounced every single thing and went to the dark side, and kind of sold his soul to the devil, became a demon.
Got it. Okay.
Until he comes back to Raven again and finds her
Okay.
in this life. And Raven was a lost child, a lost soul. And because obviously she was burned at the stake in her past life
Right.
for magic, for healing magic. And so, she was always killed, always murdered. So she basically always rises from that death, though,
Okay.
because of her healing power, which is love. And so she ended up being a lost soul, and the doctor found her. And he tried to convert her with black magic to become a voodoo doll to work in his lab. But her taunting scream, her taunting growl and scream disrupted that curse.
Got
and
it.
it left half human, half doll.
I love it. That's so awesome. Wow. And that is a story that you came up with out of your mind to this whole project of Raven Black as a band.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us here at the Rockin' House. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
And welcome back, Raven, to the Rockin' House. Wow, what a cool story how things have developed into where it's going now, to this awesome animated theatrical production with a hardcore metal attitude, the whole 9. Like you talked about, it's got the whole 9, the whole package. And of course you toured with some major bands like Devil Driver, Static X, Cradle of Filth, and Ginger, which I think she's cool and unique as well. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of your influences. Some of the major band influences and artists that would be your, that's why I'm doing this. One of the reasons why I love what I'm doing. Let's talk about that.
It goes back to the original greats, the legends I call them.
Okay.
Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper,
There you
Kiss,
go.
Slayer, newer band. Slipknot, as far as like the modern generation, because I am 50.
Right.
Avenged Sevenfold kind of paved the way. They kind of turned a different direction once they went commercial, but I still love them. Metallica, a lot of people dog on Metallica, but they're one of the first pioneers, man. You got to pay respects to that.
Agreed.
That freaking stealing and from my perspective, anybody that any ceiling or walls is okay in my book.
Okay.
That's
Sure.
just how it shows hard work, dedication, and perseverance, and that to me is like everything that drives me to do what I do.
Nice.
But as influences, Cradle of Filth is one of them. I love black metal. That's part of my favorites. I'm not a hardcore elitist black metalist or anything like that, but I do love black metal music. I love the darkness. I love the doom of it. I love the growl,
Right.
sadistic, growl that comes from like a different place. It's not your what I call the modern day metal growl where it's kind of that. I hate saying that emo scream.
Yes, I got it.
Yeah, like not really that emo scream.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It does have. I'm gonna say that because I don't like to criticize other artists because I think everybody has their own art.
Sure.
Not my style. I like the deep coming out of your core.
Yes.
The hit of your misery growl.
Yes.
And I think that's black metal. And black metal has high screams too, but it's agony. It's I don't know. I can't. That's just the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
As far as the influences, I have too many to name.
Right. You're right.
I love all kinds of music. I mean, I love folk music. There's country music that I like. I like the storytelling country music.
Cool.
Like I'm like original country music, not the pop rock country right now. Out now. Like I keep saying, I come from a different generation when music was really played with real instruments.
Yes.
And still do that today. Raven Black plays every live.
That's great.
Yeah, we don't. There's no lip syncing, or I don't believe in that. I'm from musical theater. I didn't even use a mic when I was a kid. Okay, it was you had to learn to project to the end of the theater.
There you go.
And my training. So as far as how did I come up with this vision, I was 40 years old and going, shit, how do I start now?
There you go. Yes, I do.
You got 30 plus years in this. I'm like, okay, how do I break into this now? I'm not 20 anymore. Shit, I'm 40 years old. What the hell am I going to do? But I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I love. And what do I love?
There it is.
I put a list in my head. I took it from my heart and said, I love musical theater. I love singing. I have huge vocal range. I love horror movies.
Right.
I love the occult. I love the paranormal. I love ballads. I love the growls. I love black metal. I love heavy metal. I love hardcore. There's so much that I love. I said, but how am I going to package that all into one thing?
Right.
And, I thought of it, what is this crazy circus thing that I'm doing in my head? And at that point, it was like, ding. Well, I'm not quite a circus because I don't have animal fractions and all that stuff.
Right.
We're a carnival.
Yes.
What carnival? That's where you go and expect the unexpected. You go
Correct.
see the carnival ride. You go to the fun house. You go play you have cotton candy, and you have hot dogs, and you do rides, and you play games, and I love all of that.
Uh-huh.
And I said, that's a place that you just have fun. And
Right.
there's no judgment if you see the bearded woman, and that takes me back to like the Devil's Rejects or what's that other movie, the Devil's Carnival? That movie, and then you go back to Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson and, all these different people and going, I loved all of that. So,
Right.
and I love play.
Right.
I love play. So I was like, there goes some of my dance training and my theater and metal music and punk and all the things that are rebellious And I said, but how do I show it looking the way that I do?
Right.
You know, how am I going to express this inner me on the outside? And I said, well, they're going to look at me and do exactly what they did in my 20s. Oh, cute girl. Let's not take her seriously.
Right.
Oh my. I was like, you know what? I'm fucking cute.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm on the inside.
Right.
I have shit to say, you know?
Yeah.
I got some to express.
Right.
I've been through some shit. And, you know, I was a drug addict. I went to rehab. There's a lot of shit. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to show the real me on the outside. So, yeah, there's half of me that's really sweet, very, very soft and sweet and cute and girly. And then there's this other side of me that's wicked and demented and twisted and fucked up. And
Okay.
So I wanted to go, you know, this is my chance finally in 40 years of my life to finally tell the world to fuck off.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Say it, you know, face value and not be like, oh, I shouldn't say that, or I don't want people to think I'm a bitch, or I don't want people to, I don't want to say they're, you know what, I'm 40 fucking years old, I'm going to speak fucking mind.
Got it. Okay.
And I think a lot of people who, when they reach that kind of age, like at that mark, something happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happens, but something happens. Wake up and go, you know what? I don't give a.
Yeah.
You know what? There's more important things in my life that matter to me now.
Okay.
That are. And so I was like, you know, I've been through so much, and I love helping people, and I love connecting with people, and I have major social anxiety. I have major problems from the things that I've experienced in my life.
Okay.
Where I felt very rejected and insecure and kind of just bullied, you know, a lot through my life.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to my song lyrics, and I'm going to sing it with the emotion of that.
Right.
You know, I don't pop rock star. I want to sing, and I want to create music that affects people, that makes people, you know, cry, scream, pissed off, hit something, you know, smash something,
Yeah.
you know, hug something, make love to something. You know, what is it? A producer was like, two things you can just put those down to two things. You either want to fuck to it or you want to fight to it.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. So basically, you know, that's kind of where it ended up with. At a carnival, I can do all these things wrapped into one. And basically, I describe it as all of our favorite things thrown in a blender, and we went and mixed it up and said the dark.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting story, let me tell you. And it obviously how you express yourself with this band, by the theatrics that you do, you're bringing all that out of you instead of holding it inside for people to see, this is me. This is what I do. This is what I want to do. This is what I love. And I don't care what any of you think. I'm going to do it. And you know what? People love you. So I'll tell you what, we're going to come back with Raven in just a minute and talk about some new music that's coming out from these guys.
I tried to warn you, didn't hear a word I said. You hide
right, this is Marky Z, and wow, I have to say, this show's been amazing so far. The way you're expressing who you are, and you're not afraid, you don't give a F to what you're going to do. You're just going to do it, and I don't care if you like it. This is me, this is what I do, and I want to express it instead of holding it in, and that's what you put together, like you said, mixed in a blender here, is insane. So let's go forward now and talk about what's in the future for Raven Black. Of course, I know in 2020 it looks like you guys released another single. I'm thinking it's a single, Hear My Cry, is that right? Which is a killer song, and the video is awesome.
Thank you. Hear Me Cry was our single and our latest music video. So we released a new music video last year.
Nice.
Inspiration, our new album, which was
Awesome.
The Key.
Okay. Yep.
Hear Me Cry is from, and that was released in October.
Yep.
And had originally had a tour with our biggest tour ever was an arena tour for 2 months
Nice.
with In the Moment, Black Veil Brides, and Dead.
Wow.
And
Cool.
it happened in May. Yeah, it was supposed to be May of 2020.
Right.
As you pandemic happened. So,
Yep.
But the good news is it was just postponed. Happened this year.
Good.
So, yeah, we're confirmed schedule based on what Black Veil Brides wants to do,
Okay.
based on vaccines and when they think it's safe
Yeah.
to do the show again. But it's a 2.5 month tour
Okay.
all over the nation and Canada. So
Okay.
that's what we do as far as touring. I don't know exactly when, but we're hoping all of this year.
Okay.
And then are trying to release a bonus album, which is a special project of mine, where I go solo journey.
Okay.
And if you read our comic, the second comic book kind of reveals that Raven goes back to by herself.
Really?
And Raven, yeah, so Diary is the bonus album we're trying to release.
Neat.
There's no growling. Maybe. I'm not going to say it isn't because it might just come out in the studio. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I got to leave that open, right? I gotta leave
Sure.
that open.
If it comes out, it comes out. Let it out.
No, but it's, you know, a lot of my ballads on the new album, we ended the album with a song called In the Silent, In the Silent.
Okay.
And that's a, with just me.
Okay.
For a metal album, you know, that was kind of scary. You
Yeah.
know? But our fans love it, and they're like, more, more, more. And I'm like, well, you're going to get it because we're going to release Raven's Diary.
Nice.
And Raven's Diary is just that segue of what we already do, which is that dark metal carnival. But there are certain songs that you write, and I'm sure you know this, Marky T. There are some songs you write that just don't fit an album's,
Right.
you know,
Don't fit the formula. Yes.
look,
Correct.
but it's a damn song. And so I wanted to create an album that was these songs that don't fit the dark metal carnival, but they're still very much me,
Got it.
you know,
Yes.
and it's a side of me, still dark,
Mhm.
horrific,
Right. Right. Right.
you know, still very emotional, but a lot more of my singing.
Okay.
You know, kind of a, I guess you would say, a more raw version of my vocal range that I wanted to share.
So it would be safe to say you want to showcase more of your talent of singing. Not that you don't want to stop the growl thing, but you want to show, hey, I can really sing. Like, I know how to sing. It's not all this. Don't be fooled by you hearing this heavy, dark stuff that this is what I do. No, I can really give you vocals. I
Correct.
got you. Okay, yep, I'm following you. I'm right on it. Wow, that's so awesome. Well, you know, this is really cool. So we do got something to look forward to. They just postponed the tour. It's going to be with the Black Veiled Brides. Is that correct? That's like the main
Correct.
headliner, I'm thinking?
In this moment, Black Veil Brides are co-headliners.
Got it. Got it. And I've heard of In This Moment. Yes, they're like a newer, hardcore metal band pretty much, right? They're kind of like that? Yeah. Awesome. So that is great. And then you got this comic book thing that has to do with this whole Raven Black theatrical performance all put in this comic book, which is awesome right there because I already love that, you know, 13 pins, I think it is. It's all cartoon, the whole thing. And it's you guys, and it's so cool. I love it. I mean, you guys got to do more of that because it's definitely working with the whole package that you guys bring to the table. Well, I'll tell you what, it was really cool having you on the show today, Raven, and expressing yourself and really, letting people know who you are, why you do what you do with this band. And it's interesting. It's like this horror thing, this theatrical thing you bring to the theater, from theater and all your background right to the stage. This is me. This is what I like to do, and this is what we're going to present to you, and keep doing that. So I want to thank Raven Black for coming to the Rockin' House today. I'm Marky Z, and I'm out.